We think we know what a patent is, right? It's a lock, a fortress you build around a great idea to keep everyone else out. But what if I told you that in the world of high tech, that fortress has become something else entirely? What if the very thing designed to lock others out is now the only way to get in? That's the patent paradox we're diving into today. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to tear down that classic patent fortress idea that we all learned. Then we'll pull back the curtain on the exclusive insiders club that's really running the tech world. We're going to look at the actual data that maps this whole network out, see how startups are desperately trying to crash the party, and finally, we'll get our heads around this wild idea called coopetition. Okay, first up, the patent fortress myth. Let's start with the basics, the simple, clean idea of a patent that we all have in our heads. So, we're all taught that a patent is your legal fortress. You have a brilliant idea, you get that piece of paper, and bam, for 20 years, you have a monopoly. Think about Polaroid and their instant camera, or Michelin with their revolutionary radial tires. That patent was their shield. It was a giant wall to keep all the copycats out. And this quote from 2003, it just nails that traditional view perfectly. A patent is a tool of exclusion, plain and simple. It's how you build your wall, protect your turf, and tell your competitors, nope, this is mine. But here's where things get complicated. What happens in our modern high-tech world? Where a single smartphone might be packed with technology covered by thousands, literally thousands of different patents. If everyone is hiding inside their own fortress, how in the world do you build anything? And that leads us to the modern reality, the Insiders Tech Club. Because today, that fortress wall, well, it's not really a wall anymore. It's a locked door. And the patent has become the key. I mean, just think about the phone in your pocket. The camera, the processor, the Wi-Fi chip, the screen technology, these are all pieces of a massive puzzle, and they're made by different companies, each with their own mountain of patents. They absolutely need each other. To build anything cool, they have to have access to each other's inventions. So this totally flips the role of a patent on its head. For the big established players, let's call them the majors, patents are no longer walls, they're bargaining chips, they're keys. Your patent portfolio is what you trade for access to everyone else's technology. It is your literal ticket of admission into this exclusive club where all the members share their toys. So you might be thinking, okay, this club sounds like a cool theory, but where's the proof? Well, a really fascinating study from 2003 decided to map it out. And they did it by digging into thousands of patent citations. The footnotes where one patent has to reference the earlier inventions it's built on. The researchers grabbed 600 recent patents from 20 absolute giants of the industry. We're talking IBM, Cisco, Sony, Motorola. And what they found was kind of mind-blowing. A whopping 82.8% of their new inventions were built on top of technology that was already patented by one of their direct rivals. They're all standing on each other's shoulders. And the data shows a clear power structure inside the club. Some companies are way more central than others. Just look at IBM. It's the sun that this whole solar system revolves around. Its technology was cited in nearly a third of all the patents they looked at. IBM is basically the technological cornerstone for the entire industry. And when you map all that data, this is what you get. It's a dense, tangled web of dependence. This is not a landscape of isolated fortresses. It is a single, deeply interconnected ecosystem. Everybody's innovation literally depends on everybody else's. That right there, that's the Insiders Club. So, of course, this brings up a huge question. If all the big players are inside this club, trading keys and building amazing things together, how does a brand new, innovative startup ever get past the bouncer? Well, they can't just walk in. They need a key of their own. For a startup, getting a patent isn't really about protection anymore. It's about forging an invention so clever, so essential, that the insiders have no choice but to give you a seat at the table. It is their only way in. And the data shows this is a frantic race against time. After just 1 year in business, only about 20% of startups have a patent. But fast forward to year 5, and suddenly 2/3 of them do. They are scrambling to build up their patent portfolios, trying to create that one special key that gets them some leverage. And here's the real kicker. This proves they're playing the club's game. Almost 80% of patents filed by these startups explicitly mention technology that's owned by the majors. So they are intentionally building on the club's foundation,
hoping to create an improvement or a new piece of the puzzle that's so valuable, the club has to let them in.
So this all brings us to a final, really fascinating concept that basically defines modern innovation, what's called the coopetition paradox. And here is the paradox in a nutshell. The very same tool, a patent, now has two completely opposite functions depending on who you are. For the insiders, the majors, it's a key that unlocks cooperation and shared success. But for the outsiders, the startups, that same friendly network becomes a massive wall, a barrier to entry. And that's coopetition. The majors are all cooperating with each other by sharing patents, even as they compete like crazy in the marketplace. But, and this is the crazy part, that very active cooperation between the insiders creates an even bigger competitive wall for everybody else. It ends up deciding which new ideas get a chance to succeed and which ones get locked out from the very beginning. And so this is where we're left. The patent has evolved from a simple shield into this incredibly complex strategic weapon. It's a key, it's a barrier, it's a ticket of admission, all at the same time. And it leaves us with this really critical question. If the future of innovation depends on getting into this exclusive club, what happens to all the brilliant, game-changing ideas from people who just can't afford the price of the key?